trick, slam dunks and style playbook, thick maneuvers, versatile. Fans chanting my name, yeah, they know my fame. From the kickoff whistle to the victory claim. Coaches, star player, team shining jewel. Never phased, I make my own rule. Give me space, no backing down now. Pressure's over, never throw in the towel. You being edgy just fuels my fire. Let go my ego, elevating higher. Talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego I hold. More than enough for me and my amigos gold. From the diamond to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me wherever I go. You drop the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. Yeah, I'm the champ, the ruling ace. Let go my ego. Winning every race. The sports world's mine. No time to fall. King of the game, hear my victory call. Yeah. 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 I'm the king on the court, hear the crowd go wild. Ballin' like MJ, ain't no rookie child. From the jump shot to the touchdown pass. Let go my ego, watch me outlast. Got my jersey on, number one, no debate. Crossing defenders, sealing my fate. Fans screaming loud my name in the lights. Every game I play, reaching new heights. You can't bench me now, I'm in the zone. MVP title, yeah, it's my throne. Never folding, I'm bringing the heat. Let go my ego, I never accept defeat. I'm the king, talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego I hold. More than enough for me and my amigos gold. From the diamond to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me wherever I go. You drop the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. From courtside seats to packed arenas. My name's in lights, big screens, big media. Fast breaks, hat tricks, slam dunks and style playbook, thick maneuvers, versatile. Fans chanting my name, yeah, they know my fame. From the kickoff whistle to the victory claim. Coaches, star player, team shining jewel. Never phased, I make my own rule. Give me space, no backing down now. Pressure's over, never throw in the towel. You being edgy just fuels my fire. Let go my ego, elevating higher. Talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego I hold. More than enough for me and my amigos gold. From the diamond to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me wherever I go. You drop the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. Yeah, I'm the champ, the ruling ace. Let go my ego. Winning every race. The sports world's mine. No time to fall. King of the game, hear my victory call.
What is going on, beautiful people? Hope you guys like the new borders. Haven't fully done them, like intermission, and I believe ending is still the same, right? Yeah, the ending is still the same. Working on it, you know. Um, we're trying to figure it out. I also have to figure this out. It's going to be a long time until this is fully done because my biggest problem with this is that I am dumb and I didn't put it in a PNG, so the image, you could tell the border is terrible. But that's nonetheless, we don't have to talk about that. However, we're here to talk about what actually matters here, and what actually matters is a lot of news going on. You know, so much happened. The draft happened. It's been very quiet. From the NHL standpoint since all the big moves. Now there was actually, that's a lie. There was quite a few when we did end up filming. I'm trying to think, when did we end up filming that stream? Or yeah, when did I end up streaming? That's the big point here. Let's see if I could see that real quick. Because we had that so 3 days. Damn. Okay. Because that Jason Robinson news happened not too long ago. So we're going to talk about a few things here. Let's talk about some some of the bigger deals than anything else, but it's kind of hard because this guy posted so much during the draft. I'm trying to go all the way down from when we saw before the draft. Uh, where did we stop? Nichushkin. Yeah, we had those light. We had a light amount of trades. Um, Afterwards, I think we saw the Drury trade. I think I was live for that. Um, the Zach Benson. Zach Benson signed a 7-year, $7.5 million agreement. Um, we saw that Garrett Hathaway got traded. We saw that some minor changes. I think one of the biggest one is Val Nichushkin is going over to Columbus for a second round pick that was already in this year's draft, a 2027 third and a 2028 fifth. So there was they were definitely some busy bees. Colorado, they are trying to create some cap space. A lot of them are figuring that they're trying to go after one of the big guys that are available that will eventually be the thumbnail, but for some reason it just did not want to work today, and I kind of wanted to get this like going because I have other stuff I want to do. But Valdin Chuskin goes over to that second overall or the second round pick, third round pick, fifth round pick. I wonder if Columbus keeps him. I feel like it's one of those moves that they'll keep him for like the start of the season and then they'll trade him away. But we'll see. Columbus is trying to get something going. There is more news out of Columbus, so we'll get to that, and then obviously some. We had those minor deals. We had two big ones during the draft. We'll talk about three big ones during the draft. But let's just talk about some of the small things that happened. And hell, you know what? I'll just do this. So you guys can see like the big stuff. So Nichushkin, that was that trade. Then some minor deals, some minor signings. Then here was where it got interesting. The Ducks are in advanced discussions to trade Mason McTavish to the Rangers. So this was news, I believe, before draft night, or draft. Yeah, I think it was during draft day. So let me real quick. I need to see if I can hear myself. Okay, so the Ducks were in advanced talks, so now everyone was like, okay, well, the Rangers are making moves. Let's see if they can land them. So then we had a signing and then no trade. The Blues and Rangers have both submitted trade offers. So now that was where it was like, okay, let's see. Now we all saw my little short TikTok video slash YouTube short. If you guys did not see it, Jason Robinson rejected an 8-year deal worth 15 AAV from the Seattle Kraken. Why the hell would he do that? And why? Like, a lot of people are coming out and they're saying, well, why is this a big deal? And everyone knows. Because we all know that this is a way bigger deal than anything else. The fact that he wants so much money, but he's not willing to have any wiggle. That is the bigger problem here for Jason Robinson. Here's my personal opinion. If you really want to know it, is I just don't like the idea. But everybody want to act like this is so. Oh my gosh, why are players doing this? Blah blah blah. Guys, like they have the very much of a right to do this than any freaking body else. And one thing that really frustrates me about this is that I was very intrigued, and people started to bring this up. Did they decide to change this and like Seattle? Their new tax probably ruined a lot of these deals. First of all, they tried to be in on Panarin. It didn't work. Now they're trying to be on Jason Robinson. Here's the big thing about this. Panarin's different because apparently Panarin, whether it's real or fake, but the rumor going around was that the reason why Panarin didn't want to sign a $14 million deal with the Seattle Kraken and take the deal over there is because he did not want, and I'm not shitting you, he didn't like their jersey. So if that's the case, then that's just rough. And I don't know with Robinson. Like, I think what he wants to be on a. You guys can't see my fingers. He wants to be on a winning team. Seattle's not that. It's a mid team at best. He would be the biggest superstar on that team. But he wants to be on a championship competitor team. He wants it where I think he wants all the money and still be able to perform at a high level. I think he knows that if he goes there, he's not performing at a high level. I think he knows that if he goes anywhere other than a cup contender, he's not going to compete at a high level. I think he knows that a $15 million is rough, and I think that if he does not, and from what we have been told, there's no wiggle room with him. His offer has always been 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. So when is 15 ever going to get brought down? Because they've been negotiating for a long time and it's never gone down for 15 on his side. The closest that the Stars could do is 14. Now, can they find some middle ground and make it 14.5? I mean, like, I don't know. I immediately saw people say, "Oh my goodness, Robinson can come to Vegas because of the situation that just happened with them and Dorofiev," which we'll talk about in a minute. But I don't think that's the case because Vegas, first of all, if they weren't willing to pay $11 million, I don't think they're going to be willing to pay $15 million to Robinson to make them the highest paid player. I don't see it. I mean, I think they were okay doing it with Mitch because Mitch is one of the best wingers and is better than Robinson. And I think they were willing to give the money to Jack. I do not think they're willing to give a $15 million a year deal to Robinson. It's just not going to happen. Like, they're already going to have to work out how Carlson's going to get paid, and whether he's going to take a pay cut or Stone is going to take a pay cut, which honestly, I think if Stone wants to stay on the Knights, um, I think that they should work out a deal. And we'll talk more about Vegas making deals maybe before a deadline hits, but because I think you could have a whole conversation with the Vegas thing, and that's why we're going to get into it. Because I was making a video and it went over 20 minutes, and I was like, I'll just do a live stream because I have a lot more to say. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting case. And what is next for Robinson, his camp? Time's ticking. I believe what the first is on. The first is on Wednesday. So what's the plan? What's the plan, Stan? Are we going to sit down and see what happens? Um, I don't know. I do not know. I have a feeling what's going to happen is that they're going to try to come up with an agreement. I do not think Vegas is going to. I don't think Vegas is going to get involved. I don't think many of the playoff teams will. Um, however, I did think is Robinson maybe considering Detroit. Another one I considered is if I'm Dallas and if they're really willing to get rid of Matthew Nyes, if he's willing to sign with Toronto and play with his brother, like that could be interesting because if they're willing to get rid of Nyes so bad and then get this, I mean the problem is you're going to be paying him a crap ton of money, but I'm sure that they don't care. But I mean, from a standpoint, I think I would care a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be something that we keep an eye out for because is he going to um, is he going to sign there? Is he just going to bite the bullet and just say, you know what, I'll sign? Or who's going to bite? Is basically who's going to bite first. Is it going to be Dallas just saying, fine, let's do it? But like Dallas is going to have other people to pay here, and they don't want to get to a point where they can't pay him. And right now it's like they pull to Vegas. They try to trade him. The problem is if Robinson's not going to sign, you really can't force him out. The only positive I could see is that on July 1st, when an offer sheet is taken, I will not be shocked if maybe Robinson gets an offer sheet from a team that you know he feels comfortable, maybe in a non-tax state, or something, and then he's willing to take that offer, and then Dallas gets multiple picks, and then Dallas will be in a perfect situation because now they'll have way more assets to go get a guy like Dylan Larkin, or if they want to go get a guy like Wierenski, or if they want to go get somebody that like pull a Vegas and find somebody that nobody's even talking about. Like go get a guy from a team that maybe is like in that bottom tier that just keeps getting recycled. Maybe go out and just shock us and just trade for somebody that nobody even considers a superstar anymore. But I feel like that's what's coming next for this team, for sure. I think it's coming up. Um, so that all happened, and as we mentioned, another team. This was actually I forgot this happened. I'm glad I'm going up the timeline. I forgot this happened, but the Blues offered multiple first round picks for or Jason Robertson. I almost said Robert Thomas, but he won't sign in St. Louis, and this is tough because man, if they could have gotten him, I think that would have been huge. Once again, I think he would have immediately been one of your top stars. I think he immediately would have been uh, one of those players that you're gonna build around, especially because of the future of your team, how it's kind of in like a in no man's land, right? Um, but yeah, that's something super interesting to keep an eye out for. But then you got to look at how certain people are gonna, change their minds, and I'm just so confused what he wants. If you want to be, where do you want to be? Is it because you want to keep all that money? Because if it's because you don't want to get taxed, then that's only a few options. Most of those options are playoff teams. Most of those playoff teams don't have the cap to bring you on. If Vegas brings in Robinson and number one pays that like ridiculous price is going to be, plus signs him to that contract, Vegas will have no money, and they still need to sign two defensemen, a goaltender, assuming that actually no, they would have to get rid of Hill. They would have to have a cheap second goaltender, and they're gonna have to figure out the roster using only a couple grand because there's no way Vegas would be able to pay anybody else. I don't think anybody realizes that. I mean, Vegas always finds a way, but I doubt they're gonna find a way here. But that's just interesting. We had another signing. We had the Detroit Red Wings potentially talking about Hellebuck. We heard that Dylan Larkin was probably the favorite right now to end up in Minnesota. We had a couple other here. I'll show you guys. They had a couple other signings. The Senators closing in. We thought that Jordan Spence was on the potential move. They ended up signing him to a 5-year deal, 4-year deal with $5 million. We had a goalie trade, which was so weird to me because it was like you just picked him up from Philly, and now you're flipping him immediately after. But now I wonder if maybe Ottawa is considering moving one of their two goalies, maybe Korpisalo and Olmark. And then you had Brett Kulak sign a 5-year deal with 4.5 AAV, and you had Brett Burns. Now this might be a low ranking, like, oh wow, Brett Burns, whoa whoa whoa, but Brett Burns, man, he is he is only a couple of games away. It doesn't say on here, but he is a couple of games away from becoming the all-time um, Iron Man record. I believe he's 30 something games. I could be wrong, but he's very close. Um, and I do think he is trying to chase down the cup, and the team that he's on has the ability to win the cup. He's just in a. I know a lot of people like to say the West isn't strong. It is strong. It is strong enough that they keep continuing to get into the playoffs. But I think the biggest thing for me is how is Brett Burns going to be, because his age really showed in that last game. When he was playing against the Vegas Golden Knights, and that whole squad, like I don't want to be rude, I don't want to be this guy, but man, oh man, did he suck. He did not defend well. He was not doing well at all. So my main thing for Brett Burns is what is going to happen when you could freaking you got to get over the hump. You have to get over the hump, but you also might have to sign him less. Um, like he is the one and only, and I kind of agree with this comment. Like he's one of those guys where it's like you really want to see him win the cup before he goes. Like unfortunately, he's kind of one of those guys that might only win it if he goes to a uh like management. Like he's a guy like if he's a scout, maybe like maybe a GM. I doubt he'll take that job, but like if he was willing to be like in the front office, maybe he would be okay with trying to make that decision. But right now, I just think Brett Burns is a guy who's really trying to chase a cup, and it's like why not just take a cheap deal here? If it wasn't with Colorado, it was gonna be with another team like Vegas. It was gonna be one of these teams that know that he's he's only signing for a short term deal. And it helps Colorado because by taking this short deal, which is shorter than his last, and he does have bonuses that could go up to 2 million, but um I mean we all know Brett Burns, man, he like needs this ring. Like he's been kind of cup chasing now for a minute after leaving San Jose. So he's trying his best. He's trying his best, and we'll see where Brett Burns can be towards next year. We also had Zellweger get traded um, to the uh, Sabres. We also had kind of a shocking. I like, bro. I don't know. Ottawa, I feel like is building a very interesting team. Chicago, I still don't know what Chicago's doing, especially after they're giving up their fourth round pick. So then this was the biggest news on draft night. These two, a couple of them actually. Obviously, Clark signs his deal, but the Blue Jackets have been listening to offers for Zach Werenski. That is huge. That is crucial because now, what is going to happen with this team going forward? Because I think for Werenski, I would like to see him give it one more go before he gives up. One more go, please. Just to see, if that team could go. And we're getting to that stage where um we are getting to that stage where I truly don't think that there are bad like decisions, but I don't think there's going to be many trades during July 1st or before July 1st. If anything, it's the RFAs, right? It's the RFAs that will be going first because there's no way some of these unrestricted free agents, and we'll take another look at those. But like, I just feel like Werenski might be one of those guys that say, you know what, guys, I'll go into this. I'll go into the season with some. I feel like we can do it. But by trade deadline, if we are out of it, I'm done. Like move me while I'm hot. Not like especially like that's the biggest thing with Werenski. Like you just won you just won the North. Like you were the best defenseman. This is where your peak is high. This is where your price is high. So it's very interesting to me what happens there. And then JJ Peterka for the second year in a row has been traded to the from the Mammoth to Boston. Boston ended up getting Peterka, and the Utah Mammoth received a 2028 first round pick and then the 23rd. And then obviously you had Gavin McKenna, Stenberg, and then this was the biggest news um of the whole thing, and I actually believe this is false. One of these is I don't think is accurate. Hold up, I'm double checking because I think when the Knights posted a whole different thing. Yeah, let me double check before this because I don't think this is right. Because I think this guy has it as a 2028 first rounder. I believe it's next year's first rounder. Or no, maybe it is. Hold up, where the hell is it? Double check, double check, double check, double check. Okay, no, it was double. It was 2028. I think it was for a different pick where it was wrong. All right. So then the news came out that Pavel Dorofeyev was being traded from the Vegas Golden Knights to the New York Rangers. And I wasn't shocked. I was not shocked whatsoever. Actually, I was the opposite. I kind of expected it to happen. Uh, you know, I didn't think for 1 second that Vegas was going to end up keeping him unless he was willing to take a $7 to $8 million deal. That was the only way. And from the sound of it, when this was being dealt, is like Vegas was told that his asking price was going to be way too high. And I know a lot of Vegas fans are upset because he's Scorafia. He's the guy who gives us the big goals. But notice how Vegas and the rest of the hockey world loses their mind when their top goal scorer goes, but it always ends up working for Vegas. Vegas has been through this road multiple times. Hey, Vegas just got rid of James Neal. Oh no. Vegas just traded Pacioretty for a box of rock and Dodonov, and both of those guys were basically the top goal scorers. What are they gonna do? Well, they won the cup the year after that. What else? What else? Oh, Marchessault. Marchessault's your top goal scorer. What? How are you gonna replace him? Replace him with Dorofeev. Oh my God, Pavel Dorofeev. He's. What are you guys gonna do for scoring now? And it's like, well, we'll figure it out because we always do. And something you all should know is all three of those names, at least two, for sure. I named four people, so take out Dorofeev. What happened to those three people when they left the team? Neil went from being a goal scorer here and after in Nashville, and then but after Vegas, he was pretty much out of the league. Pacioretty didn't score shit with the Hurricane or Washington or Toronto. He retired after that and was never the same player after leaving Vegas. Then, Marchie has not been the same player since leaving the Vegas Golden Knights. He has not been. He has not been the same player since leaving the Vegas Golden Knights. So, what's going to happen with Dorofeev? I'm going to tell you right now. Dorofeev, the only difference between those three players and him is the age. He's younger, so he has a lot more time to grow. One of the biggest things I have with Dorofeev is that yes, he's a goal scorer, but he damn sure is not big enough to be like a winger. Like he gets pushed around a lot very easily. He, is not the strongest guy. Like you think about Jack Eichel and how he like defends with him. Like, it doesn't matter how big anybody is, he defends well with the puck. And Dorofeev is a great guy, but at the end of the day, like, 11 million is way too high. You're getting paid almost Connor McDavid money. You're getting paid over Alex Tuch, who I think has done definitely better over the last couple of seasons. And 20 goals of your 36 are on the power play. Last time I checked, the Rangers power play doesn't have Marner, Eichel, Stone, Hurdle on it. So I don't know how good your power play is going to be. Yeah, I don't think this move terribly drastically changes things for Vegas. If anything, it helps Vegas because now they don't have to pay you. Now they can go pay somebody else, and they'll figure out the scoring later. Like at the end of the day, you want to talk about scoring. This postseason was the only time he actually scored a lot. Then but what happened in the other two games? You couldn't score with the damn. You think about last year when we needed a goal scorer, he didn't show up in the playoffs. Vegas needs guys that are going to show up in the postseason. They do not care about guys that show up in the regular season for 32 games now, or 32, 82 games, now 84. They don't give a shit about that. Look at Barbashev. Barbashev is a great example of a guy who does not show up in the regular season But when the playoffs start, he is one of the best players on the ice, hands down. That's when he scores. That's when he is like consistently a threat every single game. You could see it. You could see it. So what is going to be the thing with Barbashev? Like, you need the same thing with Dorofeev, where it was like, let's see if he could turn it up in the playoffs. And he really did this year, but it was only this year, and he got quiet during the final, which was the most important part. Vegas was not willing to take that gamble. One thing I think Vegas regrets doing is not being able to sign him last year. I think last year, after scoring 30 something goals, Vegas should have signed him to a 5 to 6 year $1 million deal. I think that would have been the best thing for Vegas to do. Instead, they decided to wait a year, and then it ended up biting them in the butt. I think you looking at last year or the year before, Vegas had so many free agents, but Vegas made sure that everyone was taken care of. And most of those contracts are easily steals. Looking at Brett Howden, think about how many dumbass fans were like, Vegas Golden Knights need to restructure Brett Howden's contract. Because that was a guy who had a bad year this year, but in the playoffs did amazing. Playing with Marner helped, I'm sure, which was another, well, when you're playing with great players, look what happens. And Brett Howden's only making a couple. What is his contract? Like 1.5 or something like that? It is ridiculously like cheap. Let me look. Um Let me look. Brett Howden. I need to see your contract, but his contract is I'm dumb, but $2.5 million through and he signed a 5 year deal. Like Vegas totally got a steal. You want to know what's crazy about this steal that everyone keeps like Vegas needs to renegotiate? It's so stupid. But you know what's crazy about that contract that nobody's talking about is Vegas signed him to that deal when he was having the best season in his career. Like literally. Like his best year. And Vegas, what the hell? Uh don't know what that was about. Um but anyways, but that was such the biggest deal. Was like Brett Howden's contract is such a steal. Well, they did it during his like I think the most he ever had was only I think it was a single goal scorer. If anything, he had 10 goals, which was like his max. And then he went on to like score almost 20 goals that year. Like he did very well. Like Howden did, and that was only playing on the third and fourth line. Like that was pretty good for Howden. Same thing with Colasar. They signed Colasar during the season because they knew that he was having a good year. They didn't want him to get too expensive. They made sure to sign Brady McNabb. That was the year they signed Hill to that long term extension as well because they only signed him to like a 2 year extension after the Stanley Cup run. Then they gave him a huge deal, which I bet now that was probably the only deal that out of all of them that they regret. And then they were wondering like, well, what's going to happen with some of these other players? And Dorofeev, I think, was one of those guys they should have gotten a deal done before this season, but eventually, or during the season. But since I bet his camp was like, no, we'll wait until the end. And it eventually worked out for them. They got their payday. But I don't think that ruins Vegas. Vegas is more likely than not, and this is another reason I think they're really happy with Ryan Craig, is because they're gonna bring up at least 3 guys that I could think of right now that are gonna be in this lineup because they all don't make that much money. Alexander Holt is gonna get another chance up in Vegas. Uh, Braden Bowman, and I think Trevor Conley is gonna get a look. I think they're going to give their first round pick a look because I think they truly believe in him. That's why I think they have been so stern on we're not trading him away in every trade conversation. I think Trevor Conley, they believe in him, they believe in his abilities, and I think that he could be the next Dorofeev, maybe, in a couple of seasons, maybe not now, but he's definitely a playmaker and he's definitely a goal scorer. So I think putting him on that third line with Hurdle and whoever it will be magic for him. We'll talk more. Let's talk more about Vegas's roster in a second. Um, this was the deal, and I love how everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, the Vegas Golden Knights got swindled." And then this is where we got to bring up the fact that Vegas rarely loses these trades. So once again, yes, you get a young player. We had 2 first round picks, and we ended up getting a middle pick for this year's draft. That was great. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people forget about the Vegas Golden Knights. Is number one, they do very well at drafting in rounds 3 through 7. Want to know why? Because that guy's one of them. I think he was a 3rd round pick. So Vegas knows how to draft. I know a lot of people are like, Vegas doesn't have any homegrown talent. Maybe not 1st round picks and 2nd round picks, but we damn sure have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th undrafted rookies. Hell, Braden Bowman was is one of those people that you have to look at and be like, wow, he's a guy who is at the top of his game. I hate that the stream delays so like ridiculous. But it's like Vegas is not in a position that they need to be worried. Like, they're going to bring up young talent and they're going to sign older guys. And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But then after that, shortly after that, he ended up signing a 7-year, $11 million deal. And that's when I knew Vegas wasn't going to give him that. Vegas was not going to give him that. And cool, now he's one of the best shooters on that team, but also who the hell is going to be there? Then here is the other trade. Mason McTavish officially got traded to the Blues. Now, reminding you earlier, just a little bit ago, he was rumored to go there. They submitted an offer, but they were waiting to see if the player that they wanted was around this area. So then that's when they made the deal. And I think this was a huge deal. And congrats to Mason McTavish. He's going to get a new start. Then we had some minor trades. This needs its own little story in this conversation. One of the young goalies, because we will be talking goalies shortly after this when we're done kind of talking all the news. Kosa is going for a 1st-round pick. The former 1st-round pick is being dealt to Utah. And I love this for Utah. Like, they trust their goaltender there, but they need to be able to split the time. And I think this is good for Kosa to get an opportunity to start some pretty significant games. I'm assuming they want to kind of split the time, probably 40 games apiece. So, and maybe give Vanacek a little more. I always think that you should give your starting goaltender as many as possible. But like, there's a reason. Like, I think Connor Hellebuck, like, he's a guy who like plays almost like him and Vasilevsky play so many games, and it's just like, and you wonder why those guys don't get too far in the playoffs anymore. Especially Vasilevsky, he's older, and after you go to the goddamn playoffs 3 years in a row and the finals 3 years in a row. But I love this deal for Utah. I think that for young goalies, for younger teams, like, this is a great opportunity because if he can become your goalie number one, if he can become that guy, like, all of a sudden, like, this is crazy. But like, this is a guy who's never gotten an opportunity in the Red Wings organization because they and you have to think, right? Most goalies don't get a chance to play because of, number one, if you're on a winning team, or if you're on a team that's trying to win, you're never going to get your opportunity as a young guy. But I think this is just such a smart move by Utah's point of view. And for Detroit, at this point, you have other guys in the round. Like, you have other guys that are there. And it just makes sense that you finally are just making this move. Because if you know he's never going to get a chance, if you know he's not going to start, if you don't have a timeline for when this guy's going to come into your damn lineup, then you gotta just make a move. And they finally did it. And I truly think this benefits the I truly think this benefits both teams because now you hope that this 1st-round pick eventually comes up into your lineup in the short future. Um, But yeah, who knows? If Costa doesn't do well, then I think we all know who wins this trade, and if he does, then all of a sudden everyone's talking. Um, Vegas ended up selecting a defenseman with their first overall pick. We found out that Seth Jarvis will miss the next 4 to 6 months due to a shoulder injury. I believe that will not. I think everyone's pretty sure that he'll be okay. Brandon Carlo was traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs to the Blues for the 73rd and 76th. The Blues were busy. Blues were definitely busy. They had so many picks. Like I think they had like 14 or something like that. So they had a lot of picks to dealt. Then this was a big one. John Carlson was traded his draft or his RFA rights, UFA rights, sorry, RFA. That was many years ago. His UFA rights all the way to the Carolina Hurricane. Now, if the Hurricane can get a deal done, now here's the thing: the rumor on the market is that he wants about $10 million, which will take it. That's a lot of. I think they only have $11 million cap space, so that's a big, just like kind of push. But a lot of people are wondering, was that a West Coast discount or an East Coast discount? Something that wasn't mentioned here that I need to mention um was Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck, there was a rumor that a trade between him and Buffalo were very close to getting done. Now, depending on who you ask, apparently by Elliot Freeman. Elliot Freeman said that depending on who you ask, it's either it almost got done or it wasn't even close. But apparently the asking price is too high for Winnipeg, which if you're Winnipeg, the fourth overall selection, like unless there's truly somebody that you weren't like in love with, it's kind of crazy that you don't take the deal because it's just like when are you ever going to get a fourth round pick like that again? Like, in a good spot without sucking terribly. Like maybe they were asking for that, another first round pick, another one after that, and a prospect and a player. Who knows what they were asking for? But I think we all need to know that like Winnipeg, they're going to be in a weird position because if you're the Jets, like you want a lot for Hellebuck, but you also have to remember that this is a business and that like goalies are naturally never going to be respected as much as like everyone else. So it's like you're not trading Connor McDavid here. You're trading a goaltender that is he's 33 years old. Like he has a long contract, and really the next 2 to 3 years are the most important parts of that deal. So it's like for a team to go after a Connor Hellebuck, like it's important to get those years now. Like that's why I think Connor Hellebuck, if he is going to be traded, he needs to be traded before the season. And we're going to see how they manage this time if they don't trade him before the season because I think I would like to see a lot less Hellebuck starting games. Like start him like you're gonna start him, but like make sure before we get towards the trade deadline you're not using him too much because what if you do trade him, his value will go down, especially if like a playoff team is like, yeah, dog, you just wasted a shit ton of my time. um, I might have to run for a short intermission, which sucks because the music I don't think lapses. So then we'll get through this. Oh no, this was huge news. We have to talk about this. This is actually ridiculous news. We all knew how we were like, oh wow, like the players not caring about Brady leaving is crazy. This is crazy enough. Brady Kachuk privately told his teammates in Ottawa for years that he would not resign. We're disgusting. Honestly, two of you post the most useless information. Not gonna lie, he kind of does sometimes. The Flyers, Sharks, Hurricane have already expressed interest in Rubensky. I think the Sharks, if they traded like the second overall pick, and I think they could have gotten him. The Hurricanes is an interesting one. The Flyers are an interesting one. I think that if he got to choose where he wanted to go, I think San Jose or the Hurricane would be the top choice. Toronto also has expressed interest. The Lightning have expressed interest. But by the way, I love how like all of these are pretty much the same, but it's just worded differently. But Tampa Bay, which I think is the most intriguing place for him, are expected to go hard in their pursuit. Marchenko has notified the Jackets. This happened on day that he will not be extending in Columbus. So sounds like he will be on the move as well. This is interesting. The Canucks are desperate to get a Pedersen deal done. Who takes him? Now we're gonna see an option here that I think is very intriguing. You gotta wonder the Kings. You gotta wonder a couple other teams though. But it wouldn't be surprising if the Canadians are sniffing around Elias Pettersson, and that is for sure. How much is Elias Pettersson's contract? Pettersson. No, I can't even spell his name. Elias. No, that's an I. Golly, guys. There we go. Pettersson's contract. It is an 8-year deal worth. Come on now. A what? Currently signed 8-year deal, which he signed average of 11 million, 11.6. That's a rough one. That's going to be an interesting one to move. So then here it is. Here's where the news was. The Sabres got close to acquiring Connor Hellebuck, but they asked too much. John Carlson's minimum ask for his next deal is multiple years at 10 million AAV. So the Hurricane, the reason why I think the trade is pretty okay, because yes, you do end up trading a player in return, right? But it's a late round pick. Obviously, you didn't value the player if you're willing to give him up for a potential, like, just to have his rights to sign him. Like, just because they got his rights does not mean he wants to sign there. I think this is just an opportunity. Maybe he said, I'll sign with like a contender in the East. Maybe this is his opportunity. But it's like, I don't think he's going to go back to Washington because I don't think they'll have the cap for him. The Bruins, Lightning, Flyers are still hoping to pursue John Carlson if he has free agency, and I think this is an interesting. I think the Lightning are a team that might spend the money to get him, but we'll see. And or the Bruins. Matt Barzal, the Canadians have looked into it, but they need to make a monster offer. The Toronto Maple Leafs are pretty high on Sergei Bobrovsky's list, so this is going to be that's an interesting thing to hear. Darnell Nurse would be willing to accept his trade to Boston. His contract is the hardest to move. I think the biggest thing with this is it's another situation where somebody's gonna have to give in. Because if you're somebody willing to bring in Darnell Nurse, I don't want him for $9 million. So you guys have to work that out. Like I am not taking his full deal if I'm any other. Like if I am Boston, if I'm anybody, I'm not taking that contract. Get out of here. Sounds like the Flyers and Ducks are battling each other to try to see who lands them. I think this is both interesting for both for both teams. I just don't understand why both these teams are willing. The feeling is that Chatfield could get 6 to 7 million a year on his next deal. That's going to be an interesting one. This is definitely interesting. Likely to test free agency, but isn't shutting the door in Ottawa. I wonder if it's just going to be one of those things where, like Ottawa, can you kind of give me an offer to based off of, like, what is the highest you're willing to offer me, and to be honest, give me your highest offer, okay, and then go in free agency and see like if there's a situation like this is the guy I think is similar to Brett Burns in a way where he might want to go for a Stanley Cup, and if all of a sudden, like, say Vegas ends up trading Hurdle and they're gonna need a center if they don't get Larkin, they end up getting a winger instead. Because Vegas, another thing I failed to mention was like Vegas, everyone acts like their teams are built on the wings. It's not. It's built in the center group. Like there's a reason why they put so much power in their center group. They don't care who the wingers are. Like it's centers, defense, and goaltending that they care about a lot, and that's why I think goaltending they're gonna try to figure that out. Whether like Binnington, we'll talk more about that in a minute, but like say they get rid of somebody like Hurdle, do you get someone cheaper in Gaudreau to be the third line center or winger? So that's going to be something because he'll know he'll be competing for a cup. I don't know how many more we got, but Boone Jenner has been linked to the Washington Capitals. for a while now, something to keep an eye out for because obviously we know how that's going to go. This was something that was crazy. The Kings are going to wait until after the season to talk about Drew Doughty's future. This is interesting because it came out that he is not going to re-sign his deal, or they're not going to re-sign him, and they're going to kind of wait until next year. I think it's weird. I think that this is like your veteran player. Maybe they're worried he's going to ask for way too much, and then whatever. I think the biggest thing right now for the Kings is that they have to freaking man up and be willing to move on from players. Like, yes, Doughty is this guy's a man who's more likely winning when he retires is going to get his jersey retired, maybe even a statue. I think that this guy is one of the big parts of your team, has always been, but he's not the same player. He has not been the same player for quite a while. There's a reason why I'm very shocked that like he made Team Canada because it's just like I think there's more talented players than him. But I think you're at that stage right now where I just feel like if you are like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Where is he gonna go? Is he gonna try to ring chase? I think that he should take a little less, but we'll see. Jake DeBrusk as a trade option for the Ottawa Senators is very real. I think this is a guy that you need to watch out for, like a Vegas to replace, a winger for. Like that is going to be the biggest thing. Like Vegas is now going to go in on wingers anywhere and everywhere, so that's something to keep an eye out for. But I think him on the Senators would be interesting. Um, the Canucks have had Marcus Pettersson's name out there for a little bit. We'll see if that gets any traction. And then this is probably the biggest one. The Sabres have Jack Quinn's name out there in the trade market. I wonder if maybe did they try to trade him along to Winnipeg? Maybe. But another winger that I think a lot of people would take a chance on. So that's all the news. So yeah, that is like all the news and updates for the week, especially because I don't know when I'll be able to stream again because I'm about to be going off for a trip for a few months. So it might be one of those scenarios where I'm, you know, or for a month. So it might be one of those scenarios where I'm like, you know, chilling. Uh, but doesn't sound like there's much. Sounds like Tarasenko will be hitting the open market. That's something to keep an eye out for. Let's open Puckpedia. Let's talk goalies. Let's talk goaltending because well, actually, I want to let's finish my Vegas talk real quick because I think that we'll get into goaltending because it actually kind of wraps in there. So you're looking at their depth chart right now, and this is what they have as their team as of today. What their team will look like based off of who's signed for next year and who's not. Now you see this. This is their, everybody that they got, you know, that needs to get signed. So that's something to keep it into consideration. We know that Petrangelo will be there. I think the only other, let's see, I was about to say, do they have press box? That they do. So this is probably gonna be so. One thing, like we got wait. Oh, that's Cormier. I thought that said Coughlin. I was like, Coughlin isn't an RFA. But yeah, Vegas is probably going to even bring up a guy like Cormier to be the new seventh defenseman, or maybe give him an opportunity if they don't want to re-sign Lazon. I think Vegas is going to try to re-sign. If out of all of their guys that they could re-sign, I think they're going to let Cole Smith walk unless he's willing to take $1 million. I don't think. I think he was a penalty machine. I don't think they want him back. Hutton, I think they want him back, but I think he might ask for a little too much, and for a seventh defenseman, I don't know if they'll take it. Akira Schmidt, I think they're going to try to get him with goaltending. We'll talk more about it. Dylan Coughlin, he played very well. I thought when he came into the lineup, I wonder if Vegas is willing to make him the seventh defenseman for sure, and sign him. Then you look at what they might look for here. Like Jeremy Lazon, Anderson, which one of them will they keep? I think they're going to let Sissons walk, Sod walk. I think they might let Riley Smith stay, and I think they might get like Riley. Can you take another cap friendly deal with us? So then that way Vegas could have Riley Smith as a extra slash third liner because right now I think Bowman would more likely play on the fourth line and Holt. But I don't think this is going to be your roster, which I actually don't think this is a bad roster going into the season. I'm going to be so honest with you. I think Stone, Eichel, Barbashev, good line. Howden, Carlson, Marner, great line. Conley, Hurdle, and Bowman actually might be really good. And then Holt, Dowd, Colasar, I think that's a solid fourth line. The defense is where it gets a little rusty. Like, okay, top four is pretty okay, but Magna and Davis cannot be your two guys. Like I would rather much have Cormier and Anderson, one of those two, Lazon. Like two of the three of those names need to be on this blue line. And who knows? Like, will Vegas try to trade Anderson's rights to somewhere else to like a sign and trade? Maybe with they can get in Morgan Riley, right? Maybe bring Morgan Riley in, and all of a sudden their left side is going to be monstrous. Who knows, right? That's just the name I randomly threw out there. But I definitely think that looking at some free agents and we'll definitely keep an eye out for is like, oh, let's go, yeah. So looking at free agents, something to keep an eye out for is like, come on now, is potentially a team like Vegas will look at a lot of these short people, like short term deals, but have great opportunity. Some names I kept thinking of is, like we said earlier, like what will Goudreau ask for, right? Will he want a lot? Will Alexander Ovechkin's going to be a very, very interesting person to choose from. Anthony Mantha, I think somebody will pay him, and they're going to overpay him. Like that's like a perfect Seattle move. We all know John Carlson. Will he resign? Right now, he wants 10 million, so we'll see. Patrick Kane is so intriguing to me. I feel like Vegas will be interested. So the reason why people should be interested in Patrick Kane, I think Kane is willing to go to somewhere that is in position to win a Stanley Cup. I think he wants to go on a team where he could go and win it one more time before his career is over. That only leaves a few areas for a short term deal, but I think a guy like, well, they're going to need a third liner is, because that if Howden really does play well with Marner, have him play with Marner and Carlson. And then Vegas could just bring Trevor Conley and they could bring in Patrick Kane and hope that he could do whatever he can. Patrick Kane had 16 goals, 41 assists, and I think that would be perfect for being on a line with Hurdle and Conley. Like he would be the assist guy. So I definitely think Patrick Kane. I would not be shocked if he took a short-term deal with Vegas, like a 1 year or 2 year deal with Vegas. Probably a one. I think he's at that stage where he'd only sign 1 year deals. He's 37, so he'd probably be like, "Hey, give me a 1 year deal with Vegas and see what happens." Ardvidson, Johnson, Tarasenko, Mason Marchment, Anders Lee, Eric Holla. It sounds like he'll probably go back, but it's not over until it's over. We obviously just saw that Jenner might be interested in Capitals. Corey Perry's 41 years old. Is he considering going to hell, where is he interested in going to? Is he interested in going to a um any veteran team for short term, right? Like is he willing to take like a very big pay cut and just kind of like the same as Brett Burns, hey, I'll be on your team. Like I'm very curious. Jamie Benn has been a very quiet name, but I think it's one of those things too where I think they will be okay with giving Ben like the captain's courtesy and give him a year. a lot of these guys interesting, especially with the youth. Maybe is going to be a big question here. Uh, Broke Brookstrand, I still can't say his name, but I think Oliver will get an opportunity somewhere, and probably for a decent amount. James Van Dreens, that Vander Kane is an interesting one. Is he going to be one of these guys that just gets like um a short term deal? Like I don't know. That's such a weird one. Victor Olofsson, I mean, this guy's a free agent every other year. Every year. I mean, he did well in Vegas. Not great, but well as like a third line, fourth liner, basically a third liner. He did well in Colorado, but I mean, everyone did well in Colorado. And then he went to I mean, look at he got 18 assists, 13 goals. The goals are actually That's pretty impressive. Um, we know Taves is done. I don't think Perron is done, but like Perron is at the age where you have to consider he might be done. Like who would be willing to get him? Riley Smith. Now we're getting to the position where like a lot of these guys didn't have a lot of points, didn't have a big effect on their team. So a lot of fourth line guys. Now we know that's all the skaters. Now looking at the goaltending is shite. They are so bad. Um, so we know Carey Price is not going to be. He's not. Okay, so I really wish they just took guys that were retired off. Bobrovsky, I'm very curious on what he's going to sign because they they keep saying he's signing like a 6 year, and I think what he wants is a 6 year by 7. That is a lot of years. He's 37 years old, so he thinks he's playing until like what 43, 44. I don't think I'm taking that deal. I wonder if he's willing to take a shorter AAV, or is he willing to take more money, less years? I don't know, but I mean, I think there's a reason why he's not coming back to Florida. It sounds like that door is closed too. Like Florida is not going to re-sign him, um, which means Florida will be in on a goalie, but the question is going to be who. Um, Peter Mrazek is available. I don't know where he goes. I'm assuming he's probably a guy who would go to one of these good teams as like a backup. Um, Anderson, same thing. Like, where does he go? I don't think he goes back to Carolina. Um, maybe they sign him to a short year deal in Carolina to keep the goaltending duo. But like Anderson, he just got paid, or he just won the cup. What team's willing to spend money on a cup winner? You know, maybe is he cheaper than Mrazek? Because maybe that would be a good backup to have in Anaheim. Maybe a team like if they get rid of Gustafson, maybe the Wild take a chance on something like that. Stuart Skinner, he's still young. Uh, you know, I mean, I remember it was him and Logan Thompson were like the goalies in the Pacific, and it was two rookie goalies, and they were just showing everyone up, and they ended up facing each other in the playoffs. Logan's obviously had the better careers thus far, but I mean, Stuart Skinner's been to more. I mean, he's been to way more cups because I mean, he started them. Um, I wonder if a team like that's a goalie that I just feel like kind of fits a Vegas mold, that if they want to go after a goaltender without bringing in a Kira Schmidt. Now the smart move, but I just don't know if they want to do it, is bringing back a Kira Schmidt, and you could bring back a Kira Schmidt, but the problem is he going to be the good goalie that you've ended up seeing? Because he did show some good flashes, but he also showed some terrible flashes. Um, Cam Talbot, same thing, like a veteran goalie that you're only. That's a problem because that's a goaltender that you're only bringing in to only play about like 30 games. Connor Ingram is going to be an interesting guy. Vanacek, I think he'll get signed. I think that deal will get. I don't know now, actually, but he should. um, Reimer, like none of these names are interesting at all, right? And then we still have the RFAs. None of the RFAs. Now here's where things get real. Now there are so many. I want to see if I can get a list. Names of NHL goalies potentially on the move. All right, let's see if they give me a decent list. So Connor Hellebuck joining Binnington as well as Bobrovsky, Jacob Markstrom. Here are the big ones, really, because not only have they been just very good goalies over the last few seasons, some of them have won cups. But like Aiden Hill, Jacob Markstrom, joining Binnington are the two names that are all immediately pop out. But then you have to talk about potential guys, and the biggest one, in my opinion, is young goalies like Devin Levi. Devin Levi has now, I think, is the new Costa. Is just he's been there forever. I figured when they brought him up a couple years ago, like he was going to be the future. He looked good. Like I thought he was going to be the future goalie of the Sabres. They always end up sending him down, and then he does have lackluster games, but I mean he still plays. I just think it's the team. I think he could figure it out. But if they're at that point where they want to go win, I think he has to be on the move. So you wonder if a team that wants to win and also wants to like have some future in the position, like Vegas right now, what are you gonna do if Carter Hart if you don't re-sign Carter Hart and if you think that okay he's not worth being a starter? How I view Vegas is like if you can upgrade a position without having to pay so much. Like yes, getting Connor Hellebuck would be amazing, right? I think Vegas would love Connor Hellebuck in the position. However, I think if Vegas could trade Aiden Hill, bring in Binnington, they were linked up at the trade deadline. Everyone thought Binnington was going to Vegas. So it was kind of one of those things where the most villain goaltender meets the most villain team. And I think that you could have a very solid duo in Jordan Binnington and in Carter Hart, and then you could figure out, well, what do you want to do with your goaltending situation? Is Whitehead and they just signed the Russian goalie. Is he gonna like who's gonna be the Henderson squad? Are you giving up on Lindbaum, or do you trust Lindbaum that he can be the goalie of the future? I still believe in him. I think we just kind of threw him into the fire in a very crappy team that was hurt and just could not figure anything out. We couldn't play defense in front of him. I would like to see if he can get another opportunity. But I just don't think we. That's not a chance you're willing to take right now. I think you need to go get a guy who could win, and I think if Vegas brings in a guy like Binnington, more Binnington than anybody else, I think that Binnington is your goalie in the playoffs. Like there's no way because Binnington could turns it up when postseason gets started. Like that's an example of you need your if you have a goalie duo, you need somebody, and Vegas kind of had this where it was like you need somebody to drag you through the regular season and have enough games that they're not rusty going into the playoffs, and then they're like lights on. That could be Binnington. Binnington could play half the games, maybe a little less, and all of a sudden he'll come into the postseason and he'll be the best player on the ice because we know Binnington in big scenarios wakes up and he is one of the best goalies in that scenario. Markstrom is interesting. Everyone's looking to shake things up, so it's going to be very interesting to see where some of these guys go. And I feel like the Florida Panthers are going to eye one of these names, whether it's a Binnington or an Aiden Hill. I think they're really going to try to bring somebody in that could help them win again. Levi is definitely one of those young goalies, though, that like they're definitely going to consider. Like you need to consider. So every team will. I think a lot of those teams that are kind of bordering the line of playoffs, like maybe not. Like we saw it with like Vancouver. Vancouver didn't use Shilovs a lot, and then all of a sudden he gets traded and he looks really good in Pittsburgh, and I think he'll be the guy there. Like you got to wonder if maybe another team will like trust Levi, and it's like, what team is willing to trust him by starting him a ton of games? Like that like Wolf is a great goalie. But the thing is, his numbers and he struggles because he plays all the time. He'll play back to backs for that freaking Calgary Flames. So it's like, well, who's next? I think that you could really see a scenario where I feel like maybe one of maybe LA tries to take a chance on Levi. Um, you know, at this stage, I think because they are just in this mediocrity run and you gotta take chances. Does Seattle try to go out and take chances? Um, I mean, Vancouver, do they have a goalie in their system that they trust? I know you paid your those two guys a lot of money, and hopefully teams could consider it. Like the thing with Demko is great when he's healthy, but he's never healthy, and that's the biggest problem. Like I want to look and see how many games Demko has played over the last couple of years. Because I need to see how many damn games this man's played. Because Demko, man, he made his name during the bubble, and he has been one of the best. But all of a sudden, let's see. So let's go to the COVID year. So he had, and actually, let's not go to the COVID year. What's the game where he like? Well, what year did he become like the number one starter? 2021, 2022. He had. Why are there? Oh no. Yeah. So it's 64 games. He had. Oh, okay. I'm just an idiot. Okay, so let's go to COVID because that's when he had the two COVID years. He had 27 starts or 27 games, 25 starts, 13 and 10. 35 games, 35 starts, 16 and 18. Not so great. Then his biggest year, 61 starts, 33, 22. Okay. 32, 32, 14, 14. Then this is when they made the playoffs. Demko, 41 games played, 41 games started, 35 wins, 14 losses, and then obviously you have the overtime as well, slash shootout. So that was his best year when healthy, when freaking healthy, and then the last couple of years, look at only 23 games. I want like 20 games, and he was 8 and 10, 8, 10 and 8. Not good, man. He can't like Demko was a guy who, after that year of the 2023-2024 season, I said, man, what team is going to try to go get Demko? Because they like that is a scenario where I was like, huh, like that is the next guy I would want to be the starter of my team, right? But he's always hurt. Do they consider getting rid of one of their goaltenders and to a team that trusts them? Maybe not Demko, but maybe Lankinen or Larkinen, whatever his name is, and trade him somewhere. I don't know where, but trade him somewhere and take a chance on Levi. And then best case scenario, Levi will start games because he's going to be your backup. And if Demko cannot go and he's hurt again, Levi will take a big, big portion of the game. And that is how you get him into a steady rhythm into the league. Um, but we'll see with goaltending. That was pretty. I think that's really all I wanted to talk about. We talked about free agents, talked about the goaltending, but like that's the biggest thing for me is goalies. Like I think we're seeing a year where not many times you see a lots of goalies moving on, and I think that's because most teams trust their goaltending will get fixed, or most teams trust that their goaltending isn't a big problem and that they could just figure something out. I feel like this is old news. Still some final touches needed, and it can't be announced until July 1st. But Flyers and Vladar are closing in on a 5-year extension, which is carrying a 5.5 AAV. Golly, they're paying their goaltender shit. Um, this is cute. This was whenever you see these lying tweets Markstrom, Mercer, Tebow Meyer to Dallas in exchange for Robinson and Smith. That's freaking crazy. It's like, yeah, trade. Let's trade their number one goalie without having a great guy in return. Um, but so here was the reported offer. Oh, if this is true, the reported offer to the wing, or sorry, to the Wings, the Jets. Hello. Why isn't this working? Oh, I just messed up. Whoop, hold up. Yep, I meant to. No, what the hell? There. Oh, it's because I clicked the wrong button. Yeah, no, see, everything was lagging because I like zoomed in my screen. So get this out of here. Here was the proposed trade for Connor Hellebuck. It was the fourth round pick, Luukkonen, a roster player believed to be Jack Quinn, and another player slash pick. I don't think this is true because, well, if I'm the Sabres, I'm being so terribly honest with you. If I'm the Sabres, I've had first round draft picks up the wazoo the last couple of years. I have had a terrible team for years. If you were not willing to give up Jack Quinn, who you're going to give up anyways, Luka-Pekka Luukkonen, fourth round pick, or the fourth overall, and probably just the first round pick for 2027 or 2028, you're a stupid franchise. I don't understand that. I'm taking that deal. And I know a lot of people will be like, that's a lot. Is it really? Luukkonen is a pretty solid goaltender, but he's not on the level of Hellebuck. So, yeah, you get a pretty solid goaltender who showed in the playoffs that he didn't look great along with everybody else. So it's like, yeah, you get a young player like Jack Quinn, that helps. And the fourth round pick, that helps. Like, maybe is it that other first round pick that is a little too much? You could argue it is a tad bit, but I don't think it is. If you believe that you're going to get a great steal, do you just think you could? You have to break this down into picks. If I trade Luukkonen, what am I getting? A third rounder in return at the most? And like a prospect player, maybe? And not a good one, not a high end one, a low end one. Jack Quinn, I'm getting maybe a like second round pick, first round pick at the most, maybe, and I'm not. That's being generous. I don't even think you're getting a first round pick from that. So you're probably looking at just a couple of third rounders and stuff. So like, I think this is a deal. Like, I think you're getting a goaltender that is a solid starter. I think you're getting a position player that could play. And then if you get a fourth round, if I get the fourth overall pick and a first in, like I said, 2027, 2028, I think that's a done deal. I am taking that. And actually, let's see the comment because I would have taken this deal. Why would the Jets offer anything? Wait, is that what it said? Or am I just reading that? I okay. Yes, if only the first three. Number four, depending on the player, it's too much. No, 3 for 1 is still too much for a player at his age. I don't think so. I actually don't think so. Now here's the deal. My my offer, and maybe it is. Maybe I'm thinking about this in a different light because looking at my offer, it is way worse than this. My offer was our first round pick in 2028 because that's the only one we had. Actually, it's better when you think about it. Dorofiev and Aiden Hill. Those are my three. And then I did say maybe a prospect. Maybe. But you know what's funny is that I offer that, and when you look at it, it's a better deal because, as I just mentioned it, break down the players into prospects. Bring Dorofiev and think about what can you get for Dorofiev? 2 first rounders and a third. Clearly, we just saw that. 2 first rounders. So they're getting a guy who's worth 2 first rounders. So I'm not giving you So I'm giving you that's better than Luukkonen. And I'll give you Aiden Hill, who's probably similar, which is like a third round pick. That's probably what Jack Wynn's probably worth. So honestly, I think Vegas's deal is a little bit better because the possibility of if you trust Dorothea like the Rangers did, and you trust Aiden Hill can get back to his ways, that's a perfect deal. But you saw what Luukkonen did in the playoffs. He didn't look great. You don't know what you're getting in Jack Quinn because it's not like he's been an unbelievable performer like Dorothea. Like, of course, I would have taken. I think I would take Vegas' deal if that was it. Than this, 110%. Um, I mean, come on. Um, let's see. There's not anything else that I could see. Yeah, nope, not much more than that. Oh wow! It actually, I think that it's official now. I think that was really the trade offer because other people are starting to report it. Um, yeah, sounded like a fourth overall, Luukkonen, a player, and perhaps another ask. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that comes into the negotiation from the and the argument. You're 33 years old. That's who you're getting. Like, Luukkonen's in his late 20s, like 26, I think, 27. I could be wrong about that. But it's like you're getting a young player. I mean, it's really just the goalie, right? Like, I think if maybe Luukkonen wasn't a part of the deal, like, I think I would even take. I think I would take that if it was two first and Quinn. I'd probably take that because then you could use the first, you could use the fourth, and then I could use the first another year, and then I could just go out and go get another goaltender. You know, like, I know that sounds like, oh, that sounds so easy, but it's like I'm sure that, like, you know Vegas doesn't want Aiden Hill. Markstrom doesn't want to be where like, I feel like they can get a goaltender. Like, it sounds like it's not as hard. And hell, you could even say, like, bring Levi, go and get Levi. Um, yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. I'm looking around the Christmas tree. Realistic destination for Rowensky is the Stars, the Leafs, the Canes, the Bruins, the Mammoth, the Sharks, the Lightning, the Flyers, the Ducks, and the Wings in that order. Very terrible. If the frickin' Red Wings, imagine going from, like, imagine they just have the craziest offseason. Like, it starts with the Larkin rumors. They end up getting Rowensky. They end up trying to figure out if they can get Hellebuck. They just throw their future out the window, re-sign some other guys for cheap, and then they go and try to win the cup. That would be crazy. One of the craziest offseasons of all time. I think that's all the news. That is all the news. Oh, there is one more bit of news. It's not big. I mean, it is, but it's not crazy big. The the Raiders haven't played a game in forever, but they actually lost another game. If you guys are wondering, what are you talking about? How did they lose another game if they're you know if they haven't even played a game? Well, because the Vegas Golden Knights and Team Riley Smith beat Team Brock Bowers and the Raiders to win the Battle for Las Vegas trophy. The team consisted of, let's see if I can get all of them here. Ryan Reeves, Riley Smith. There was a couple other, like non-hockey. Braden Bowman, Trevor Conley, Alexander Holt, Hill, Hart, Shea Theodore, I believe, was there as well, and Carlson was there, just not playing. But good, it's for charity, so it's a nice little game. I believe the final score was 30. 30 something to like 20 something. I don't remember, but Vegas, Vegas. The Raiders had a huge lead. They had like a 10-0 lead to start the first inning, and Vegas ended up coming back. Trevor Conley got the comeback started because then the next inning he hit a in the park home run, and then it's because I think what they did the year I went, they had they had like a mini barricade, right? So there was a lot of home runs because if you could hit it like pretty much past midfield, you can get a home run, right? Like normally charity, I think this time they just said screw it, let's have like open field, and there was a lot of inside the park home runs. I wonder if that was just a way to get like scoring better or and to have guys get a little more mobile. I don't know, but oh shit! Let's look at this. Marchenko had 25 5v5 goals last season. Dorofeyev had 17. Dorofeyev had 33 5-on-5 goals in the last two seasons. Marchenko has 49. So are we thinking he's going to get the same contract? And he's a tad bit older, though. No, they're the same age. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Are they like practically similar? His defense. You're fucking lying. His finishing is 90%, 97%. Teammates 55. What would he want? Because I feel like imagine Vegas just like brings him in. That would be crazy. I think he'd probably want a big bag too. I think he'd probably get. You just never know. Never a doubt. Oh, I think I was like, why is it say never a doubt? And Elliot Freeman had a Canada thing, but I think it's because Canada won against South Africa. Oh no! Oh good heavens! Oh, so it was the seventh. There you go. It was the seventh annual Battle for Las Vegas charity game that took place in the Las Vegas ballpark. I'm trying to who's won them because I think it was Raiders. I don't know. I is there a history? Their history? Can I look it up? Because I know. So Vegas this year. It was Raiders last year. I think it was then Vegas, and then Raiders. So the Knights have won it 4 out of the 3 years. I think I'm gonna double check that. Battle for Las Vegas. Who wins then the first? And then because I remember I was at one of them that they won. It was the year that we won the cup. So 2019, the Raiders. Yeah. So I think I was right. Yeah. So then they started changing the names, but we all know like the affiliates because in 2019 the Raiders won the inaugural game. The Raiders then beat the Golden Knights 25-16. The Knights then won 2022. Then the one that I went to, they won in 2023. And then well, I love how it says for their third victory, but that would only be their second. I don't know what the fuck. Wait, let me count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So then, and then it was Team Eichel, even though it was Team Knights. So it was Team Eichel versus Team Carlson. Then they won. Jack Eichel and the Knights won then. Then Team Brock Bowers defeated Eichel last year in a walk-off grand slam. I think they flip who the home team is every year because I think Vegas was the home team. Yeah, I don't know because first of all one of these isn't right because it says score was 30-17 and then the next year it was the same thing. But I could have swore Vegas won it off like a walk off. Like it was a tied game. Vegas won it off a walk off the 2023 year. But then Bowers beat Eichel, and then this year Team Riley Smith, because Riley Smith came back. Then they won. Yeah, these scores aren't right. Oh no, it is. Never mind. Because they won the home run derby too. That was another thing. But yeah, Vegas ends up winning it, and the Golden Knights have now won 4 out of the last 7. So it's a really nice, fun little charity game that they do, and I think it's just a nice thing for the community. I wonder if there's a way that they can make this like bigger with like the. It's hard because like every other team is in tournament. Never mind, there's no way that could happen. I was gonna say it would be sick if they could figure out a way to make like a multi-team thing. I think it would be cool when the NBA comes to try to do an NBA team. Like so now, or like not to obviously have them like a third team involved. To me, I think it would be cool if you could have like an entire day of having like if you were able to have like the baseball team, which is kind of cheating, but like I'm just trying to think who all could be like. Oh, that would be sick if it wasn't during the same point of the year. If the WNBA Aces team took on the PWHL women's team, that would be sick. But no, like I wonder if like when the basketball team comes into their off season, I think it would be sick if they were able to like each team gets like 2 players. Like I don't like like I don't know. If not many people are interested, if they're like, oh well, you can get 4 guys, and it's like, all right, you 4 go there, or you 2 go there, you go there. It's like, what? You guys are like substitutes or whatever. But I think that's gonna be it for me. I don't know when I'll ever be back. I mean, I'll be back, but I mean, I just don't know when. Keep an eye out for the little short videos. I'm gonna try to do those a lot more, especially because they're a lot easier because I can just go anywhere in the house to do it. Let's just go through these rumors real quick. The rumor mill. Nope, we've already seen that. This was 4 hours ago. Kraken deal. The Stars had another deal lined up, so they were getting as part of the package number 7 over. Wait, whoa. No fucking way. Because I was about to say probably for Larkin, because that's what I always thought. I always was like, oh my God, they're trying to get the number 7th overall pick so they can go get Dylan Larkin. And then Dylan Larkin's going to be in Dallas. And then Robinson's going to be in Seattle. I was like, oh my God. But no, this is actually nuts. The Stars had another deal lined up. So they were getting, as part of the deal to get the 7th overall selection from Seattle. Then they were talking to flipping it to Toronto in that deal, including Matthew Nyes. Dude, the fucking Stars would have cooked. That would have been an amazing play if they got it done. Oh my God. If they got it done, man, holy shit. So we've already seen that. Dylan Larkin in Minnesota, we know. Marchenko, the Canadians have a lot of interest in Utah as well. The Red Wings, some teams are poking around Alex DeBrincat. I believe New Jersey and Buffalo. Interesting. What would Buffalo want? If I'm the Red Wings and I'm giving rid of DeBrincat, I want Doan a part of the deal. That's just it's a must. New Jersey, I can give a shit who's a part of the deal. Columbus hasn't given up on trying to sign Mason McTavish. It feels like the decision will go to the wire Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Yeah, because I feel like that always happens. One person every year waits until the day to sign a contract. Like everyone's like, oh, he's gone, and then it doesn't go. Horvat and Barzell are some players that could be on the list. It looks like maybe look out for that. The sense of talking to people around the league is that the Habs GM has not been shy about calling guys who are likely aren't available. He called the Islanders about Bo Horvat, and I feel like that's something that Vegas does a lot too. That is always intriguing because a guy's never available until all of a sudden he is. I think that's going to be it. I think, yeah, we've already seen a lot of this news. I don't think we really need to rehash it. But yeah, I think that Julio. So it sounds like that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys have a lovely night. a lovely day. Actually, before I go, I want to do something. Nah, I can't. I'm not gonna. It's gonna look weird. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, a good night whenever you were watching this. For people that tuned in, thank you. If you're just watching this as a VOD, thank you as well. I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm the king on the court, hear the crowd go wild. Ballin' like MJ, ain't no rookie child. From the jump shot to the touchdown pass, let go my ego, watch me outlast. Got my jersey on, number one, no debate. Crossing defenders, sealing my fate. Fans screaming loud my name in the lights. Every game I play, reaching new heights. You can't bench me now, I'm in the zone. MVP title, yeah, is my throne. Never folding, I'm bringing the heat. Let go my ego, I never accept defeat. I'm the king, talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego I hold. More than enough for me and my amigos gold. From the diamond to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me wherever I go. You dropped the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. From courtside seats to packed arenas, my name's in lights, big screens, big media. Fast breaks, hat tricks, slam dunks, and style playbook, thick maneuvers, versatile. Fans chanting my name, yeah, they know my fame. From the kickoff whistle to the victory claim. Coaches, star player, team shining jewel. Never phased, I make my own rule. Give me space, no backing down now. Pressure's on, but never throw in the towel. You being edgy just fuels my fire. Let go my ego, elevating higher. I'm the king, talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego I hold. More than enough for me and my amigos gold. From the diamond to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me wherever I go. You dropped the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. Yeah, I'm the champ, the ruling ace. Let go my ego. Winning every race. The sports world's mine. No time to fall. King of the game, hear my victory call.